Well, hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. Agam and I are here to wrap the markets for you, and what a strong comeback it was today for the equities. In fact, the Indian indices actually bounced back post yesterday's sell-off as Asia ended and Europe was sitting on strong gains. So the Nifty ended about 157 points higher. The Sensex gained about 500 points. So that was the biggest gain in about 5 months. So the Nifty ended close to the day's high, and in fact all the indices were trading in green, of course led by banks, metals and IT stocks. Not surprisingly, Agam, the advanced decline ratio was at 4:1. Market breadth was positive, but that's as far as your Nifty is concerned. Anything that you're picking up from the futures and options market?
Absolutely. So on the back of the strength that we've seen in the markets, we've seen fresh buying in the Nifty. We've seen fresh long positions in the Nifty Bank Index as well in this futures. And along with that, we've seen a decline of as much as 7% in the India Volatility Index, going back below the mark of 15. Now, there's been a complete inversion of yesterday's trades when it comes to the options market. And I'll tell you why. Let's take a look at what's happened today. So while yesterday we had a surge in the 8600 calls, today is where we're seeing that substantial writing in the 8600 puts. Similarly, yesterday we were seeing unwinding of 8600 puts, and that has changed into an unwinding of 8600 calls today. As far as, once again, your range is concerned, based on open interest, that continues to remain between 8500 and 9000. So it's a broad range, Shraddha. We're still looking at a very broad one of 500 points. But given we have seen Nifty come back to about the mark of 8650 after Thursday, we're just going to have to wait and watch as to what the Bhav copy will tell us with respect to more open interest addition around the 8600 mark, which will also give us an idea of whether or not we are looking at a strong support. But what are the big movers telling you, Shraddha?
Now, when it comes to the index movers, Nifty movers, there were just 5 stocks, which actually ended in the red. So you had Adani Ports gain as much as about 7%, followed by HDFC, ICICI Bank, Tech Mahindra, Tata Steel. So all of these sitting on gains of over 3%. On the losing end, you just had Bharti Infratel, ONGC, Asian Paints, BPCL and Ultratech not losing more than 1 to 1.5%. But we have to talk about the gainers, and ICICI Bank was actually building on yesterday's gains. So after gaining about 6% yesterday, we saw a steady session of gains, so 4% gains today, so another 4%. So that's as far as ICICI Bank is concerned. In fact, Agam, Nomura has also increased their target price on ICICI Bank from 285 to 325, and they've said that it is their preferred corporate bank. So change in stance as far as ICICI Bank is concerned. And that apart, of course, you had HDFC that was also sitting on gains of about close to 4%.
And speaking of HDFC Bank, in the NBFE space, the housing finance companies were buzzing in trade. Can you tell us a little more about that?
That's correct, Agam. Led by, of course, HDFC, which was the top gainer. Besides that, you also had LIC Housing Finance sitting on gains of about 3%. Smaller names like Divan Housing Finance, Repco Home were also rallying about 5 to 6%. And this is even as Punjab National Bank Housing Finance announced their price band of 750 to 775 per share for their IPO. So that values the company at close to 4 times price to book value on a forward earnings basis. So that is a significant premium to peers, and that led to all of these housing finance companies picking up cues on the higher valuations, and all their shares were rising. So that's basically what really lifted shares of NBFCs.
Right. So when it comes to the broader markets too, I want to consider the Nifty 500 index, and out of those 501 stocks, we had about 400 which ended in the green, which means that the advanced decline ratio there as well was 4 towards advances as against 1 in declines. Let's consider some of the gainers there. We have seen a surge in Alok Industries. Of course, this is a penny stock, just about 3.6 rupees, but we have seen about 11% gains there. HCC has also gained 10%, followed by Motilal Oswal, and Motilal Oswal specifically has been very, very strong over the previous 3 sessions. Adani Ports, Sun Pharma Advance, as well as KPR Mills. Of course, LIC Housing Finance is something Shraddha has already mentioned. In terms of losers, and as you can see, there really isn't much momentum towards that. We've seen some weakness in Simplex Infra losing 4%, but after that, HT Media, Prestige Estates, Mindtree and VA-Tech were about all losing less than 3%. So clearly, today is a day for the gainers. We just have to wait and watch as to how much more can we make with respect to not just the indices but the broader markets as well. But that's as far as today's market goes. Shraddha, what are we keeping an eye on for tomorrow?
Lots of things to really keep a track of, and in fact before we head to tomorrow, there's the minutes of the RBI Monetary Policy Committee's meeting that happened on October 4th. The minutes are expected later in the evening, and hence money market participants are really paying a close attention to that. So you have your rupee, which is appreciated by about 20 basis points. Your 10-year bond yields are also trading about 2 basis points lower. So that's something that we really need to watch out for, because that will kind of give us a direction as to what next. Host of smaller earnings tomorrow, none of the Nifty companies, but you have KPIT Tech, RBL Bank, NIIT, Hindustan Zinc. So all of these earnings to track. In talking about IPOs, you're talking about Punjab National Bank, Housing Finance, you have Endurance Technologies, which list tomorrow. Fantastic subscription is what they had seen, about 44 times. The price band was 467 to 472. So that's another thing to keep an eye out for. Lastly, I remember you telling me we have the China industrial production and GDP data that's coming out. So Asian markets could probably react to that in the morning, and that could really determine how Indian markets really do in the initial period. So that was all for today, and these are some of the things that we are watching out for. Thank you for watching Bloomberg Quint. We will see you back tomorrow at the same time.